Hello again, Alan here, storyteller. Our story this time takes a slightly different turn because it's set right here in Stoke-on-Trent and in very recent times. It involves a little girl called Dayo. And Dayo is from Sierra Leone. It's a very hot country. And when she came here with her mom and family, she was a bit cold because England isn't a very hot country. They were taken to the capital city, London, and they were processed through the system like always. And then they were told that they'd been sent further north to a place called Stoke-on-Trent. Dayo was very worried. It was already cold, even though it was springtime. Further north, all she knew about that was it was even colder. And she was wearing all her clothes just to stay warm in London. She wasn't particularly happy. Dayo asked about the new city they were going to live in. And one of the ladies very kindly found an old book. The pictures in the book did not look very inviting at all. It showed factories and huge smoke coming out of massive chimneys and coal mines covered in coal dust. It didn't look very friendly. It didn't look very clean. It didn't look very nice. Dayo was even more worried. Along with many other people, they were put onto a train. Now the train had many stops, and it was a long and boring journey, and Dayo fell asleep. Soon, she began to dream. And in her dream, she dreamt of Sabina and Adebayo, her friends from school who she hadn't seen in a long time. And she dreamt of Uncle Kasim and his farm and how sad they'd all been after leaving behind. And she dreamt of London and the traffic that scared her. And she dreamt of Stoke-on-Trent and those horrible pictures. And in her dream, she was sad and scared and lost. However, just as the dream was beginning to get very unpleasant, there was a light. And in her dream, Dayo looked towards the light. And it was a smile. Nothing else, just a smile. And it lifted Dayo's spirits a little. And as her spirits lifted, so the smile became a face. A warm, friendly, inviting face. Which lifted Dayo's spirits even higher. And as she began to feel a little less sad, a little more happy, the face developed into a young lady. Dayo smiled as the young lady held out her hand. Dayo took it. And in her dream, she was transported outside the train. Still travelling, but no longer unhappy and no longer scared. Dayo said, "Who are you?" And the young lady smiled and said, "I'm Angelina, and I'm a dream fairy. And I've come to tell you all about the city that you're going to live in." Dayo looked a bit worried again. And she said, "But I saw those pictures. They were horrible. Why are you going to tell me about it?" Angelina smiled again and said, "Look." And suddenly the book was in her hand. "They're horrible pictures," said Dayo. "But look closely," said Angelina. And she turned to where the date of the printing of the book was very, very clear. And it said 1954. And Angelina said, "That's a very long time ago." Stoke-on-Trent in 2021 is a very different place. Really? Oh, really? Dayo still wasn't convinced. But suddenly, the train disappeared. And they were in a beautiful park, covered with trees and flowers. And there were children playing on the swings and the roundabouts. And people walking their dogs, talking, and some sitting on benches. They all seemed very happy to be there. This is Tunstall Park, said Angelina. It's in the north of the city. It's in the north. Why isn't it cold? Angelina smiled again and let out a little chuckle. It's cold all over the country in the wintertime. But we are in the springtime now, and the sun is out. And in the summer, it gets even warmer, and it doesn't get too cold even in the autumn. And as you can see, everybody's having fun. Ah, said Dayo, but where are those big chimneys with the horrible smoke? Angelina smiled, and once again they were in a new place. This is the Gladstone Pottery Museum. It's in the south of the city, in a place called Longton. What's a museum? Asked Dayo. Ah, it's a place where we collect things from the past to show our history in the present day and for the future. Oh. They wandered around the courtyard into the bottle ovens, and Angelina explained that many years ago this had been a factory with hundreds of people working here, making beautiful pottery that they sent all around the world. She pointed out the piles of coal. She said the coal was burnt, and that's what made the horrible smoke. And modern factories in 2021 don't use coal anymore. There's no smoke. It's clean. What sort of things did they used to make? Asked Dayo. Well, and soon they were in a room with drawer after drawer after drawer of beautiful tiles. That's not all, said Angelina. Whisked it upstairs to the bathroom suite. There were so many. I've never seen such colourful toilets, said Dayo. Everything we use is white. Haha, yes, but you can decorate all sorts of things when you're making in pottery. What else did they make? Well, they made sensible things, practical things, like cups and plates and saucers, and even bowls and vases and beautiful ornaments. Would you like to see something being made? Oh, yes, please, can I? And soon they were watching a potter throw a beautiful bowl on a proper wheel. And next they saw a lady decorating a huge vase with such great colours it made Dayo's eyes blink. What else is here? Asked Dayo. Well, let's go and look, said Angelina. And soon they were at a place called Etruria Locks, where two canals that run through the city meet. On the corner of that meeting place is a forge where a blacksmith works. A blacksmith makes things out of metal, beautiful things like gates and practical things like horseshoes. And the fire sparkled and lit up the room. Do you make gold and silver things here? Asked Dayo. The blacksmith smiled and shook her head and pointed in the direction of Hanley. And that's where they ended up next. This is called the Potteries Museum and Art Gallery. The potteries is because the pottery that was made here. A museum, which I've explained to you, and an art gallery because people put their art here. Wow, said Dayo. Who made these? They're beautiful. And she looked all around the Saxon hoard. Well, these were made many hundreds of years ago by people called the Saxons. And they were buried underground, and only found very recently, a few years ago, by a treasure hunter. And the museum bought them so that everybody could enjoy them. They're very beautiful. They are. I like all these places you've shown me, but is there anything I can do? I like to dance. Are we allowed? Oh, yes, said Angelina. Oh, yes. Dancing, said Angelina, is something many people like to do. There are many dance schools in the area that you could join as a little girl. But this place, and they were in Fenton Town Hall, and she looked up, it was huge. Oh, what lovely ceilings. What? Oh, it doesn't seem very clean. Well, that's because it's being repaired. It used to be a huge dance hall, and then it was closed a long time, and now it's going to be a dance hall again, and everybody will be invited to come along and join in. That sounds like a great deal of fun, said Dayo, and she was cheering up with every minute of her dream. Are you feeling happier now? Asked Angelina. Oh, I am. It seems much more friendly than I imagined it to be when I saw that book. Well, yes, Stoke-on-Trent has been voted the kindest city in the whole country. Really? Oh, yes. Can we go back to the park? I really liked it there. That was just one park. We have several in this city. This one is Burslem Park. And as you can see, there's lots of green spaces that you can run around and play in. Some have even got football pitches. I don't like football. No, but there's still places to play. You look puzzled. Why is it called Stoke-on-Trent? That's 3 names in one. Ah, I'll explain why. The next place they went to, they were standing on a riverbank. This is why, said Angelina. This is the River Trent, and it runs through the town called Stoke. And that's where they get the name from. Are you happier? Oh, I am. You've made all my fears go away, Angelina. Thank you so much. Just then, the train jerked to a stop, and Dayo was woken up. And her mum said, Are you all right? Yes. Well, we're here in Stoke-on-Trent, said her mum. I hope it's going to be a nice place. I think it will be, said Dayo, and smiled. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the story. As usual, we have a series of words that will help you with your English spelling and hopefully a little bit more understanding. The first word is London. It's England's capital city and it's a very busy place. In London, of course, there is a huge amount of traffic. Dayo was invited to travel on a train. All the way to Stoke-on-Trent. The Dream Fairy took her to a museum and a park. She also saw a vase being painted and a bowl being thrown on a wheel. And they were both pieces of pottery, which Stoke-on-Trent is famous for. And of course, what Dayo wants to do most of all now is to dance. Thanks for listening.